Well, there are the protesters.
Indeed.
I have to admit that I still find the vandalism of Hayden's apartment puzzling.
Yeah, I'm still a little suspicious about that, to be honest.
The protests themselves have been entirely peaceful so far. And the human revolution, regardless of the flimsy philosophical ground they stand on, are not a group known for projecting their ideology through unlawful means.
Well, I mean, that wouldn't make much sense, now would it? I mean, I suppose there are plenty of protest groups that, are quite hypocritical in the fact that violence is not the way to gain you a standing with the public, but, who knows?
The more I research them, the more I have to admit to the statistical conclusion that we're either dealing with a deceptive covert operations scenario, or less likely, a radical splinter group.
Who knows?
Still, I doubt it will hurt to ask around. Brian Mulberry is there in the center.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and talk to
Fairlight
him.
said he was the one to talk to, and my mesh searches confirm that he is the leader of the local chapter of the Human Revolution organization.
Alrighty. And, by the way, for those of you who couldn't tell because of my fantastic editing skills, this is now a new play session. The game has just released today, so it is currently January 17th, 2017, and the game just released, and it is fantastic. A couple of the bugs I saw so far, I went back and tried and played through a couple of the segments. A lot of the bugs that I saw and might have commented on have been patched out. I believe there was a bug in the intro which I actually edited out. So I knew something like that would have been fixed before release, and of course it was. So I figured no sense bringing up kind of a glaring bug when it's so obvious it was going to be fixed. Anyway, let's continue on.
He's a bit player on the national scene, but he seems charismatic and camera conscious from the video clips I've reviewed.
Have to say, the first review I saw of this game, after it came out, that it's best enjoyed with a warm cup of coffee, I can certainly agree with that.
Perhaps we could use that to our advantage?
Well, we can certainly try, can't we? Alright. Is your middle name Elvis or something? I always thought this guy, I mean, I've seen a bunch of people too who think the same thing. I just think he's so much like Elvis. And I hope that's what they were going for, because they hit the nail on the head if they were. Alright. Here's my contribution to the cause.
Your contribution to the cause is greatly appreciated.
No, that's ours. You can't take it.
Oh, thank heavens.
Always funny. Alright. Let's see if we can get a comment about his hair by looking at him. No? Aw, too bad.
Hello there! Would you like to hear about the dangers of our country's unchecked use of genetic modification?
Sure.
I have pamphlets. Here, take one.
Oh, if you have pamphlets, how can I refuse? Ionic Fairlight said to introduce myself. I have one of his cards here.
Oh, yes, Yannick called and said something about an investigation into an apartment break-in. He didn't elaborate, and I'm not sure how I might be able to assist with this. But if Yannick is involved, I'll do whatever I can. How can I help?
We found Human Revolution graffiti spray painted all over the apartment, and some things were stolen. I was hoping you might be able to point us in the direction of whoever did it.
Ah, well, the Human Revolution certainly does not condone such actions at all. We're a peaceful organisation, and threatening people is not going to earn us hearts and minds.
Yep, just like I was saying earlier.
But the record, some of our younger members can be a bit overzealous, as any hot-headed teenager tends to be.
Very true.
I'll look into this matter personally, and if I discover that any of our younger members were involved, they'll be turned in to the proper authorities.
Well, that certainly sounds like a very diplomatic thing to do. Then again, I suppose someone in your position would be very likely to respond in that way, although I suppose if he does follow through, that will be quite helpful.
I'll also let Yannick know anything I find out.
There's a little more of the normal person reaction.
Is there something else I can help you with?
Could I ask you some questions about the human revolution?
What questions can I answer for you?
What are the ultimate goals of the human revolution?
We hope to educate the public about the dangers of rapid technological advancements. We want to warn the country away from thoughtlessly accepting every scientific discovery we make before it's too late. We used to say that splitting the atom would surely bring about the end of humankind.
Well, yeah, and how did that turn out? Well, okay, to be fair, it could, but it didn't. Just because we decided, nah, we're smarter than this. So, but, you know, still a fair point, I suppose.
But now we're changing the very things that make us human, our biology, with nothing to ensure our safety.
The safety part is certainly a valid point as well. I'd say that's definitely a valid criticism, although I suppose I haven't done any research whatsoever into the actual procedures that they use in this game. But who knows?
The revolution we're after is humanity as a whole making the decision to remain as we were created, and return to how we lived before genetic science put us on the wrong course.
Well, but what about those people who, you know, have to do this? Like Jess. Jess didn't have any choice. She would have probably died otherwise. I don't know. Personally, I would make an exception there.
This world is Icarus, flying too close to the sun. It's only a matter of time before our arrogance becomes our demise.
I suppose I can see where you're coming from, at least. That's for sure.
Just because we can, doesn't mean we should.
Those are some very shiny sunglasses you have there. Can I borrow? Why protest at this clinic?
Genetic modification is one of the most dangerous sciences we've ever fooled around with.
Well, I mean, I guess in a way.
It's playing God on the highest order and threatens to unseat what humanity is altogether.
Well, but I mean, you know, evolution, you could say evolution did that to us and countless other species, so I don't know. Personally, that's not an issue I take with this.
Cybernetics is a dangerous path as well, selling off pieces of ourselves bit by bit for mechanical strength and resilience. But at least a brain-controlled android is still a human brain, even if in a metal box.
You know what? It's just occurred to me that I'm actually getting somewhat personally involved in the issues that this game is throwing at me, and the fact that I didn't even realize it, and I'm starting to, like, come up with my own opinions on completely non-real issues at this point in time, that's a good sign. That's a good sign that this game has, you know, gets you invested in it, even if it's just, you know, made-up lore. So, well, props to you, again. That's pretty funny.
There is a reason Congress enacted laws prohibiting highly modified hybrids from breeding.
Yes, but how just is that law? From what we've seen, it doesn't seem to be.
Now, I do not fault the individuals who come here for treatment, many of whom are disabled and deathly ill.
Yeah, well, it seems like you kinda are, though.
If you ask me, genus isn't the kind of therapy they all need.
Well, what kind of therapy do they need?
However, We must take a stand against the medical research industry that would have us cast aside our humanity for their miracles.
Again, not the reason I would go against this. I would be more along the lines of, just doing it because you can, or just because nowadays perhaps society says, oh, if you're not a hybrid, you're not normal or something like that. That's when I would start saying this whole therapy thing is causing discrimination against, people who want to stay as regular old humans, or perhaps who don't have the money or resources to undergo genetic treatment. That's when I would definitely start getting uppity about this sort of thing. How do you plan on enacting the social change you want?
At our core, we are a peaceful movement and seek only to convince people to vote according to the truths we reveal to them.
Makes sense.
The human revolution has faith that American democracy will win out in the end.
Maybe. I mean, you've got a shot at least.
It falls to us to make sure that people are informed about the daunting and confusing technologies they put their senseless faith into every day.
Again, that's definitely a valid point, not just for genetic modification. That even applies today in some degree.
On a personal level, we would like to exhort every individual to try and live more simply, and reject any gadget or medicine that would make us less than we are.
Fair enough.
Is there something else I can help you with?
No, thank you for your time. It's been informative.
Of course! If you have any other questions, feel free to come back. I always have time for the press.
You got it, Daddy-O.
You clearly missed doing real journalism. I'm impressed.
You know what they say, you can't keep a good journalist down.
I think you're starting to get back into the hard-boiled investigative journalist thing.
Darn right I am.
Hopefully we'll get lucky enough to turn up a new lead, even if this one didn't pan out like we'd hoped.
Well, the only thing that overcomes hard luck is hard work, Turing.
Ah, Harry Golden. How fitting to use a quote from a newspaper publisher, and I agree with the sentiment. More leads will find us, should we seek them out. Let's keep moving. Don't forget, we're still here to actually break up these protests. Let's see if we can't figure out a solution together.
Indeed.
Make sure to look around and think carefully. I'm sure we'll find something.
Yep. It's funny, the first time I played this part of the game, or the original game anyway, I didn't realize that there were actually two ways to solve this. So, so spoiler alert, I believe there are two different, I'm going to explain the two different ways that I believe there are to solve this. The first one is directly in front of us, and it's the way that I solved it. There's this weather ROM, and it's owned by the person inside this Hassy bar here. So we use that to change the weather, and it drives off the protesters peacefully. Or, I believe, failing that, or maybe just if you don't realize that you can do this, maybe because you didn't trust Yannick Fairlight or something, he didn't give you his business card, maybe, which is what you need to get the weather ROM. You can also just throw a brick at this police ROM that's right here. I think you can go over here. Yeah, here it is. There's a brick. There we are.
Do you think it would be okay to take that?
Alright, we've got a brick in our items. Now, this is not how I'm going to solve this particular puzzle. As much as it would be way easier to do so, I am going to do it the peaceful way. And who knows, maybe they've added another use for the brick later on in the game. Actually, are there any things? Oh, I can use it.
If you break that glass top, I have no idea what could happen. Our mission is difficult enough without having to worry about weather.
That's true, actually. I wonder what would happen if you did that. Never thought about it that way. Anyway, let's head into the Hassy Bar. Or perhaps I should call it the Hassy Bar. Because apparently that's how they always do it. Hello there. Crystal Hassy. Let's have another. Salty Lassie Hassy. Another. Grassy Hassy shot. And another. Salty Lassie Hassy. Nah, I already had one of those. Give me another. Just a Hassy, alright. Neo Hassy. Another. Mango Hassy. Bring me another. Hassy Hot. Bring me another. Holiday Spirit Hassy. Just in time. And another. Alright, achievement unlocked. Always the best. So yes, that's an achievement in this game I just wanted to go for. You have to try 10 different kinds of Hassy drinks. Alright, so looking around this place, we've got a guy. This delicious fountain of Hassy right here, or rather the Hassy ROM. The Hassy Bar owner. Let's look at the Christmas tree. It's probably fake. Ah. Well, at least that technology is improved, I suppose. Oh, wow. I mean, that could be just a planted scent, but who knows? Alright, we've seen that. Let's touch it. I can feel the spirit. Or I feel like buying something. Alright. Let's listen. It's probably just gonna play Christmas songs. Oh, nice. Zap the hell out of it. I shouldn't be allowed to carry that. Well, it's allowed in NSFW without a permit, so... Because it's an adventure game? And 'cause I can? I don't see what your problem is with it, game. If this were a Sierra game, well, actually, no. The Sierra game would have problems with it, too. It would just kill you for it. But that's just because Sierra games just have a grudge against the player for some reason. Okay, let's wait to zap the Hassy Bar owner after talking to her.
Aw, that is the most adorable little ROM.
I like your voice.
What kind of model is it? Where did you get it?
In hindsight, I think I've said that about pretty much everybody, maybe minus the Stardust Bouncer. But, you know, it's just, you know, goes to show.
It's so moe.
Interesting description, but I guess it's a valid point? I don't know. Thanks, they're a custom model.
Oh wow, you don't see a whole lot of those around. Must have taken ages to get that case looking that good, with the home printer too.
You know, I'm not even sure if Hayden printed Turing himself or whether it was actually, you know, just built off of old spare ROM parts or, you know, experimental pieces and bits from Parallax. Who knows?
I'm impressed.
I wonder if, you know, because now that this game comes out, I believe they stated that anyone who has the soundtrack and sort of, you know, art book DLCs on Steam, those are both apparently going to get updated, from what I understand. I could be wrong, I could have misread that, but if they do, I wonder if we'll ever get any sort of design documents for Turing. Because, personally, I just love, you know, even if they're just totally made up, I would just love seeing some lore-inspired official, official in air quotes, design documents returning. That'd be pretty cool to look at. So, anywho.
Anyway, what can I get you?
A drink and maybe some information.
A drink I can do, and I guess I have some time to talk. The protesters outside the clinic are driving off a lot of my regular customers.
Is that so?
Filling up my bathroom too, jerks. So, what do you want to know?
So, tell me about yourself.
Oh, I never introduced myself, did I? I'm Ramona. I guess there isn't much to tell. I went to college, got a degree, took out a loan, and bought this place. Now I spend my days trying to find enough time and money to sustain my VR drama addiction. My priorities are justice, cute stuff, and magical girls, in that order.
Well, good to see you've got your priorities in order.
What else? I pretty much don't leave the store.
Maybe the priorities aren't in the right order, if that's the case, but... You, don't seem pleased about the human revolution. Now that I think about it, I'm not even really sure. I honestly can't remember what I was trying to base this voice off of. I don't know. If anybody could, tell me what this voice sounds like in the comments, because I feel like I based this at some point off of something I had heard, but I don't know. Either way, what do you say about this question that I just asked?
Look, they've got the right to protest, but I don't have to like it. Once they're done with the hybrids, I know they'll be coming for me next. So I'll be voting appropriately.
As you should.
And if I have to unclog one more toilet because I'm an entitled, bigoted jerkface, I will lose my goddamn mind!
Jerkface, that's a good description. Why would they come after you?
Oh, you can't tell? I've got a cybernetic arm and leg, thanks to an autocap crash when I was a kid.
Oh,
I also got Neuralinks for VR interfacing.
well, that's too bad.
If it was up to those dinosaurs, I'd be stuck in a wheelchair right now. Or worse, depending on how far back they want to push our medical technology.
Yeah, that's true, I suppose. They didn't ever really state how far back, how simple is simple.
It's already illegal for me to have a rocket-powered fist. What more do they want?
Well, if it was legal to have a rocket-powered fist, I guess if you really were mad enough at them, you could just Falcon punch them out of the bathroom or whatever. Is that your climate control ROM outside?
It does a good job, huh? Yeah, that's mine. Well, technically, it's property of Hassy Holdings. We spent some mints on it, but the rest of the block helps pitch in for maintenance costs since I usually set it to patrol the whole area.
Makes sense. That was very generous of them.
You should check it out when we do Christmas in July.
Ooh, I like the sound of that.
It can cover the whole street in snow, as long as it's cloudy enough to keep the sun off. Sort of like today.
Well, I mean, that's probably the only time you'll ever get snow in San Francisco, unless the climate really, really changes. Or, you have a really, really cold winter, perhaps. Would you mind if I take it for a spin?
Sorry, but that thing cost me way too many credits to let just anyone poke at it.
Yeah, I suppose if the whole block is sort of essentially sharing ownership of it, I'd probably have to ask the whole block, technically.
I would need to see some serious credentials before I let you mess with it.
Alright.
You know, enough to make sure you can afford to replace it if you break it.
Makes sense.
Otherwise, no touching.
No touchy touchy. Alright, so you, called Turing... Moe?
Sorry. Otaku speak. I just mean he's really cute and lovable, and you kind of want to hug him forever, you know?
Well, I can certainly agree with that.
A lot of otaku come around here, probably because I own the place. I'm used to being able to shoot my mouth off and not explain all the jargon.
Otaku, as in Japanese cartoons?
Yeah, I know it's a bit out of fashion, but I'm a history buff.
Oh, gotta love it when otaku speak is is technically like, has gone the way of Old English or something like that. Oh, that's kind of funny. I can't even imagine that.
The past really gives context to stories of the present. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can certainly agree with that.
I've been to Tokyo twice already.
That's a new sound effect. I half expected the Steel Samurai theme to start playing there with a little like, those are taiko drums. So, gotta love it.
The old otaku resist the new culture of the saishi in the same way their parents refused to give up cassette tapes.
Their parents? This is 2064, so they were trying to still use cassette tapes in, what I assume would be around this time. I mean, assuming like, parent generation being like roughly 50 years or so that'd be like 2014. Pretty sure cassette tapes were long gone, like they weren't even in fashion or making a comeback. Like, records were making a comeback, sure, but cassette tapes? I don't know. It's a video game. I shouldn't think about it too much, but I can't help it. The Saishi?
Oh, sorry. The Saiba Shibito. The Cyber Den.
Ooh. That sounds like a movie.
In the early 21st century, Japan had an epidemic of chronic shut-ins, and the rise of direct link virtual reality only made that worse.
Ooh, I can imagine so.
Suddenly, people weren't just refusing to leave their rooms, they were refusing to leave their heads.
Yikes.
But as the technology got better, the Saishi were the first to figure out how to use their own brains to sculpt cyberspace.
Like, actually physically sculpt cyberspace, like, into... That's kind of a crazy concept if you think about it. Just, just jacking directly into the web as opposed to any application or something, and actually shifting all the data around so that the visuals that it creates in a VR headset actually, are transformed into something that can be interpreted as like a landscape or something like that. Frankly, that's insane. That'd be really cool to see.
Computers are good at thinking in straight lines, but the human brain is capable of so much more.
Yep.
The best virtual landscapes, the most real VR dramas in games, are created by the Saishi.
Suppose that makes sense.
Now, even if an earthquake or a meteor or whatever leveled Japan, they'd still have Neo Tokyo built on the VR net.
Although, they wouldn't have any of the Saishi left to help sculpt it or anything. But, yeah, I guess. That's kind of a dark to think about.
But enough babbling. If you're interested, I'm sure you could find more out on the mesh, or use an induction helmet to visit Neo Tokyo yourself.
Yeah, maybe. Who knows?
It's a trip, especially for newbies.
Yeah, perhaps after all this, excitement has died down. Alright, I think that's everything.
Okay, enjoy your drink and let me know if you need anything else.
Alrighty. So, now what I believe we have to do here is give Yannick Fairlight's business card to Ramona here. I don't know, perhaps if, when you're talking to Yannick Fairlight in the hospital, perhaps if you say to Turing, I don't think we should trust him, or something like that, maybe he won't give you access to Leon Decker, or, he won't have Leon give you his card or something. And then perhaps that would be what forces you to, to throw the brick at the police ROM in front of the protesters. But I'm actually not sure. I could be wrong about that. Either way, let's give her the card.
Dr. Yannick Fairlight. I've heard of him. Super rich guy? Used to own System 1?
Yep, that's him.
Why are you giving me his card?
I work for him. He's looking to buy a climate control ROM like yours.
Yes! He's getting on in years, and it would be useful for when he goes out and about. That's why we wanted to see it before.
I need a close look at it to make it sure it'll suit his purposes.
Yeah, okay. I guess you can take a peek. Don't bust it, though. I scanned this card, and I swear if you break my ROM, I'll be calling your boss.
Alright.
Here's the RFID key to access it.
Sweet.
Thank you. This will surely be useful for our needs.
I like how he doesn't even bother mentioning this will be useful for Dr. Fairlight.
Shall we go check it out?
Indeed. Alrighty. Oh, that's right, I forgot we could look at Sutro Tower. Oh. God, I love the music in this game, but that synth saxophone is beautiful. Trust me, I could listen to this one song and then the one other song in this game that has this really just smooth synth saxophone in it for just hours on end. But that's not exactly prime material for a review slash playthrough of this game, so I will soldier on. At least it keeps the music playing in the background. So, let's use this weather ROM.
This ROM has multiple different climate control settings. Maybe we could make things a little more festive. Christmas is my favorite season.
Certainly.
Should I switch it to snow mode?
Yeah, turn this baby on.
It's snowing? Okay, people, I for one didn't bring any winter wear. Let's call it a day for now.
Excellent work!
Alright.
While I still have doubts about the moral superiority of using subterfuge to disperse a protest, we at least accomplished our goal peacefully.
Darn right.
And to be frank, considering how the human revolution is clearly working against my personal interests, I won't waste many clock cycles puzzling that ethical quandary out.
Yeah, well, I suppose in this case I'll be doing more thinking than you are, Turing. Well, about any given particular issue.